Hello there, Lunch and Learners. Welcome back. Welcome back to another fantastic Lunch and Learn. Today's episode number 85. And we're still doing the mini series. And today we're diving headfirst into day 4, taking action. But let me do a real quick recap of everything that we talked about so far. We started this last week on day 1. We talked about the idea creation. What's the idea? What's the creation that you want to work with? Day number 2, mixing faith with your idea. That's super important. You can't have one without the other. Number 3, formulating a plan. And this is very essential in your idea creation, because forming a plan is what's gonna take for you to succeed. So if you haven't done this, I would really recommend you for start taking notes. Get a notepad, just like this one, or any notepad. I have notes everywhere. I created my own calendars. But if you don't write these things down, like let's say you come up with this excellent idea at nighttime or during the morning or whatever, and you don't take action, you don't write down those ideas that come to mind, they're never gonna come to fruition. They're just gonna be ideas floating in the ether. And if you don't take action, if you don't take hold of them, those ideas are gonna go to somebody else, and all of a sudden you're gonna see somebody with the same idea that you had. They're gonna be making a big profit from that idea that came to you first, but because you didn't take action, the idea went to somebody else, and they took a hold of it. They took action. They put the idea to work. They mixed faith with it. They created a plan, and now they're making it happen. So whatever that is in your life, whatever ideas or thoughts come to mind, there's no such thing as a dumb idea. So if those ideas are coming to you, make sure that you write them down, take some notes, even on your phone. Sorry, you could take notes on your phone. Every phone has some kind of application where you could take notes. So make sure that you take an advantage of those of that application. So it says day 4, taking action. In this pivotal session, we're embarking on the thrilling adventure into the world of action. Ideas are seeds, but actions are the water that makes them grow. So what does that mean? I'm going to give you guys an example. I always talk about plumbing because plumbing is what I did for 17 years. And I used to love working in the plumbing business. And you know what? I didn't really take notice of everything that I was learning, all those principles that I was learning in the plumbing industry. But and it wasn't until I got into coaching and personal development that I started going backwards into my life and from my career. I went from the last years of my plumbing business all the way down to the early 2000, 2001, 2002. And in order for me to become successful, my dad, he was the best coach I ever had. He said, in any kind of business, any endeavor that you take in life, you have to make sure that you always start by the basics. Even if you have an opportunity to start up here, make sure that you learn the basics, because the basics are going to get you to anywhere that you want to go in life. The only way that you're going to be able to succeed in your business is if you learn the basics. Then from there, you could build up on those things. And he told me another thing too. He's like, anytime you're working with another plumber or another company or whatever, he's like, if somebody asked me, have you ever done that before? Because they wanted to show me how they did it. It's like, Sam, I done something similar, but I wouldn't mind learning from you. Like, I want to see how you do it, so that way when I go to do it, make sure that we're doing it right. So my dad was like, he always came from that. He always gave himself the space to learn new ways of doing things. He knew that the way that he did things was not the only way of doing things, especially in the plumbing business. You work with hundreds and hundreds of different plumbers, and everybody's got their own ideas of doing things. So my dad was very open to those ideas, and I started like like taking on that model too. So anytime I went to do business, if I work with a new company or somebody new or different plumber, I always open up myself for ideas. And a lot of times I picked up something that I wasn't doing, and I kept on adding and adding and adding to the way that I was doing business. So, and that was one of the ways that I was taking action. So make sure that whatever it is that you're doing today, you're taking action. Whatever idea came to mind, you wrote it down. And when I say write things down, don't just write them once. You have to work with that idea, take it apart, put it back together, erase, scratch off, write new things on the piece of paper. That's how those ideas are going to come to mind. Especially if you get the opportunity to work with the mastermind, like the mastermind that we work with here within the academy. We have an awesome mastermind group that we meet each and every single day. And if you want some more information about what the mastermind looks like, or how can you get enrolled into one of these programs, especially the mastermind, maybe that's your starting point. Get it into a mastermind group. Maybe that's where you need to start. Well, give us a call, send us a message, get a hold of us. We're always here on this platform. So if you have any questions, concerns, type them up in the chat. And if you want some more information on how you can become part of this mastermind that we talk about all the time, we'll give you all the details and all the information, how you become one of our members in that mastermind group. So that's what we have for you today. Let's look at the key points. It says immediate steps. Discover actionable strategies to kickstart the implementation of your plan. Like I said, you got to take notes. You got to write down. You got to get yourself a notepad. I prefer a notepad over a phone, but the phone is so that when you're out on the road or when you want to send somebody a message, stuff like that. But if you're at the house, if you have a desk, if you have your own space where you can work with your ideas. For me, the experience that I had is like, if I put everything in writing, I don't know if it's old school, but the way that I learn is I have to have the action books. For example, I have to be able to write inside the books. I have to be able to highlight inside those books. So, and that's the same thing with ideas. I put them on a piece of paper. I take them to the board, and I'm working throughout the day. I'm working with different ideas, different plans. We're putting different coaching programs together. So I go to the board and start working with that board. Sometimes it takes me weeks. Sometimes it takes me months. If it takes me a day or two, that means I don't really put that much effort into it. But that's how I get my breakthroughs, okay? And the second key point, effective communication. Learn powerful techniques to communicate and present your ideas, gaining support and collaboration from others. Once again, that's the collaboration of a mastermind. Very, very powerful, guys. The last key point here, staying focused and motivated. Explore proven strategies to maintain focus and motivation throughout the execution phase of your projects. And that's what I'm telling you. You got to put those things in writing. You got to put them on a piece of paper. You got to carry the piece of paper with you. Fold it. Doesn't matter what it looks like. You're the only one that's going to understand what's written on this paper anyways. Until you come up with a master plan you want to share, you want to present it with other people in your team or your company or your business. And that's how you make that presentation. But you have to come up with some kind of presentation, some kind of plan. Who you're working with, are they supporting you? Are they putting you down? Like, what kind of people are you surrounded with? Okay. And it says right here at the end, it says, by the end of the session, you'll be armed with the tools to not only start taking action, but to also do with purpose, precision, and passion for progress. For example, guys, I have a C-type goal. I work on my goal card each and every single day. I edit a couple words. Sometimes I take the whole thing apart and put it back together. But that's something that I do, because like I have ideas and I'll come and write them down. And I'll have another idea and I'll write it down, a copy paste. Now what I'm doing is learning how to save the original C-type goal that I had at the beginning. And I'm just learning how to create different ones. On the same page, I just add another one and another one and another one. So anytime I'm creating a new one or I'm updating my goal card, I'm always adding something. I'm taking other things out of that goal card that don't make sense to that goal card, and that's how I work around my C-type goals. So it's an idea that came to mind. I work with it, take it to the mastermind group, and we work with it together. And that's how we go about doing our business. But anyways, guys, that's what I have in store for you guys. But we'll be back tomorrow with another amazing episode. Okay, so stay tuned, and we'll be back tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye.